It's an independent lens that allows us to negotiate with the carrier. Or if we're talking about going self-funding, we can do a cross comparison and show you what both of those avenues look like, staying or going. We can provide all of the historical data so that it makes sense from that standpoint. Because part of going self-funding is you start to begin to pull some levers. You can start to carve out pharmacy, carve out the stop loss. There's just a few things you can do to reduce that cost overall. We'll be able to pinpoint each one of those and show you what those savings look like. And we do that through those reporting. Beyond these two primary pieces of information, we also provide demographic and benchmarking analysis on a regular basis, so you know where your group stands compared to your peers. And then we also have a contribution modeling that we'd be able to roll out as you near open enrollment for your employees. And then we have a robust data warehousing system. Okay, all together, we would use these tools to help you make the best effective and efficient plan for your employees.
All right, we'll open it up for any questions. John?
I'm sorry.
Let's go ahead.
Can you elaborate on how you would help the city look at the self-funded portion of the insurance?
Yes, absolutely. You want?
Yeah, I get it. Okay, so what we would do is your baseline would be what you're currently at fully insured. From a self-funded standpoint, what we'll do is look at the same claim historical data that we have with assumptions. Before you go to market, we make assumptions on what that fixed cost, the self-funded component of your stop loss fees, your administrative fees, any other ancillary costs, plus those claim costs to determine if that lines up with or beats your fully insured premiums. Oftentimes it will, because there is a load that fully insured carriers put on their fully insured product. Basically build in that premium, though, for taking on that additional risk. On the self-funded side, you're taking the risk, so really all you're paying is those fixed costs. So we'll show that comparison. Here's your fully insured cost under the premiums with the carrier. Here's your self-funded cost, which is your claims and your fixed costs. And what's the difference? What's that delta between the two? And does it make sense to make a move?
Okay, how many municipalities do you guys work with?
So across the nation, we work with about 2,000. And let me back up. That does include school districts, universities, higher educations. Here in Texas, we're about 10 municipalities. We are partnered with several entities in the area that's going to be going towards Hidalgo County. So we do consult for Weslaco, ISD, and have had experience working with a number of different school districts going west. So very familiar again with the community, been involved with several direct clinical contracts. As we talk about self-insuring, this is another option or cost containment measure. So very familiar with the healthcare systems that your employees are utilizing.
Are there any other questions, Commissioner?
Out of these 10, are these municipalities in Texas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Could you name some?
Yes, there could be City of Balch Springs. It's mostly in the Dallas area as well. In the Houston area, we work with several different appraisal districts, Fort Bend County Appraisal District, and the other ones are blanking me right now. I apologize. The municipalities will be in South Texas. North Texas. We did sign on some recent contractual work with some cities in Hidalgo County, City of Edinburgh.
I guess this is more toward Gabe. The last, and they might still be here, the last consultant we received, we got last year, a couple of years ago. Will they be able to handle all of the insurance? Because I believe...
Well, they're here right now, so they're going to make a presentation.
Well, see, this is my question. It's more for you than anybody else in the audience. A couple of years ago, we brought in...
Okay, well, let's first finish with them, and then we can
go ahead.
jump off with Gabe. But I just, one final question. I think I heard you say that there was a dedicated person for Cameron County or the region. is that someone out of the Houston office, or who would be the contact for
Yeah.
us?
Yes, ma'am. So it would be myself, and then George is based out of Houston. And he is from the Weslaco area, so he was.
I think that's what I
Yes,
heard.
ma'am,
So you don't have a RGV office,
Correct.
but
yes,
you
ma'am.
have folks that would be dedicated to this region. Do you cover any other municipalities or school districts or any other entity in the Rio Grande Valley?
Weslaco ISD.
Weslaco ISD.
Currently, yes, ma'am. And then City of Edinburgh as
And-
well.
Okay, wonderful. I think those were, right, yeah, those are questions. Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And before we call up Valley Risk, you had a question for Gabe?
Well, we'll finish up with Valley Rest, and then I'll.
Okay.
So yes, next up, we have Valley Risk Consultants, and we have Daniel Hausbeck. And I'm sorry, I don't know the. Javier, yeah.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, and good evening, Commissioners. I'm Daniel Hausbeck. I'm hopefully the slides are going to work okay. Yes, great. So we're established here as a public entity with risk needs. We're over 100 years of combined public experience. We have over $125 million in annual health benefits contributed under the management. Centrally located here in the Rio Grande Valley, so everybody that would be working with you would be here from local areas. We're also Hub certified, and we're also minority owned. We just help out with designing RFP specifications for medical and voluntary products. We tabulate and evaluate, and also we work with your group to make sure your tabulations are understood. We complete everything that direction. We do cost containment strategy. I think everybody understands that one. Obtain favorable renewals with medical and voluntary products. We work with the systems. We work with everybody else, so we'll talk about self-funded versus fully funded. Maintain loss ratios under the industry standards. We also, which I didn't hear if anybody else says, we also deal with the property and casualty. We helped you guys redo all the property and casualty, finding everything else to do it, working with trying to lower the cost. I think we saved $10,000 on the last time. We were able to put everything together, move them to the districts from TWIA to the insurance products. So we worked with them. Again, that's our main bread and butter. We have over 100 years of combined experience with Rogers, one of our main partners. We inspire ownerships and participation. Your employees come first. We have a working solution with results. Last time we did everything, we went through everything, and ended up coming out on a good side of that. I think currently what we worked with you guys before, we were able to go through your medical insurance. We were able to keep it under $600 per employee. So I know that was hard back then. Everything was going up. Right after COVID, we have a big issue. So I hope that answers some of those questions. We also are independent. We just do consulting. We don't do insurance sales. We're not agents. We don't represent any company. So we'll make sure we look at each different company that best represents for the city of Harlingen. Okay. These are all the companies that we're currently working with. We all currently have contracts with each one of them. We have with McAllen, self-funded, the Brownsville ISD, self-funded, Laguna Madre, fully funded, San Juan, fully funded, Port Isabel, self-funded, Ed Couch Elsa, fully funded, Sherryland District, self-funded. So South Texas, Mercedes is self-funded, Harlingen, fully funded, and Hidalgo County, fully funded. So I know you were asking those questions, so hopefully that answers those. We also have under 500 premiums. We work with stop loss. We work with building the network. If you do want to decide you want to go fully funded or self-funded, we work with your network to how to build that network. One of the other things is we also work directly with our pharmaceuticals to try to keep your benefits down. So pharmaceuticals, if you try to go self-funded, that's one of your biggest costs. Any questions now?
Gentlemen?
Maybe it's for Erica. How long was your contract for? Was it for 2 years or 3 years?
It was 3 years. It was 1 year first, and then 2 years with optional to renew.
Okay.
And right now, you're just at the current 2 years, so you still have another year to renew if you want to keep it at the same cost.
Run by that one again?
Can you say that again?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can you say it again? I didn't hear.
Oh, okay. You're on a 3-year contract, basically, 1 year, then you have an option to renew for 2 more years. So right now, you're under the 2-year mark, you're coming up, and then so you have 1 more year to renew at the same contract.
So the renewal will be for 1 more year, correct?
Right.
When you took over this account from McGriff, I believe,
No, it was from Carlisle.
pardon me?
From Carlisle?
Carlisle. That was just for
That was-
health?
That was everything. Carlisle was doing everything. They were doing the insurance, and they were also doing the property and casualty and windstorm,
What are you doing for Harlingen? Everything?
everything.
So you're the current, so general liability, you take care of that?
We took care of that.
Property,
We took care of that.
group health,
We took
you
care of
got
that.
that? I believe you're doing windstorm as well?
Yes.
And then you got, you don't do workman's comp, do you?
We do, but we didn't work on your workers' comp because you were already set up. And remember, we had the issues with going on with everything, so your workers' comp was working okay. So there was no change in your workers' comp.
The workman's comp is TML.
Correct.
The question for you, Gabe, is this. I know this is one of the things that, before I ask you your question, how much did we save overall by going with your company?
With everything going up, you really didn't save any money. You saved without having a large percentage increase. Okay, so instead of having a 10% or a 15% increase, you only had a 5% increase. And we actually kept, like, some of the ancillary products, we kept them at 0% increase.
For some reason or another, I was thinking that the general liability was less. No, take that back. Group health was less than the year before.
Well, group health was going to give us I think it was a $1 million increase,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit higher, but then we were going to go out for RFQs for health insurance, and they dropped the rate down to about $400,000. But I also met with Roger, and we used to have 3 different tiers of health insurance. And right before they did that, we combined them to have only 1 tier for insurance, and so that helped save us some money.
With an EPO network.
So we did save on not having to go with that $1 million increase from United. It helped us, kept it lower.
Do you guys do any certified safety consultants?
You had an in-house person for that before, but we can offer that if you're looking at it.
Just out of curiosity, who was that one? Was that our risk manager?
Yes.
Miss Erica, I gotta ask.
Are you done with,
Well,
is there, before we
yes.
get to Erica, is there any other questions for Valley Risk?
I
Do you have
guess-
questions?
No, I'll ask Erica a question, then I'll ask Gabe a question.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Erica?
Yes, Commissioner.
I take it Fabio is no longer with us, correct?
That is correct, sir.
How many risk managers have you gone through?
I have gone through 2. Yes. The first one was a risk coordinator, and then I reclassified the position. It's now a risk manager, risk and benefits manager.
So is it 2 or is it 3?
2.
Forget the titles, the people that were in that
2.
office. 2 in that office?
Yes.
For some reason or another, I was thinking 3.
No.
When you came on board, there was 1, and then you brought in 2 more.
No. When I came on board, that position was vacant, and I recruited that position.
Okay.
And then that person is no longer here, and then we got the second person, which was Fabio, and he just left for a better paying position.
Okay. One of the things that I've always wanted to see as I start to get on board is keep our funds locally, invest locally, and reduce our expenses,
Sure.
okay? And that's why I've asked Gabe in the past on workman's comp. other than TML, can we finally get somebody to compare and get another company or two?
So
just
there's-
so we can weigh things out?
So there's very limited. We did go out for, out to market with Valley Risk. They helped us with that. But it didn't make sense for the city to move on, and that's why we stayed with TML. And I think TML is going to be very competitive. They insure, I want to say, about 98% of the municipalities in the state. So it's very hard for anybody else to compete with TML.
And you said we had actually, it had reduced, right, with the time that you were before us?
Yes, so it was really high and it's gotten a little bit lower, some of the claims, but with TML, they go 3 years back. So because we had a couple of bad years, even before I started, our rates are a little bit high, but we're working right now to make sure that we are preventing some of those incidents so that we do have a better year on the coming year.
Better yet, what are you doing as far as the reducing the risk?
So I'm working, to your question, I have already hired another risk and benefits manager that comes with experience from Cameron County. And I will be working closely with this person to see what we can do to mitigate some of the risk. We do have 2 consultants that we deal with TML. Most of our accidents have happened with police department, unfortunately. And so we have been proactively working with Chief Kester. We had a meeting with them about a month and a half ago, and we're working to really trying to figure out the type of accidents that they're having and why and the times and all of that so that we can mitigate some of that risk.
We also met with TML and some of their consultants about those crashes and trying to determine
Right.
how to have some sort of
Right, we're
training.
collaborating with TML. They have consultants, and so
Yeah,
they're helping us
to bring
with
that down.
Right.
Are some of these officers being retrained that have these accidents?
I don't know that
Yes.
that's relevant,
No,
Commissioner.
not from start to scratch.
I know,
From-
but I think that we're kind of going off topic in terms of individual accidents and things like that. But maybe that's something
I can
you
happily discuss
talk to
that,
Erica
yes.
about.
Sure, not a problem.
Who'd you hire from Cameron County?
I'm sorry,
Who'd you hire from Cameron County?
her name is Claudia.
Oh, really?
So you know
Her name.
Claudia?
Look at
Hey,
that.
she
Yeah.
came, yeah, she's
Claudia Caballero,
fantastic.
yes. And I believe she also does subbing for the Harlingen School District as well. So she's kind of jack of all trades, so.
So Erica, the only thing I think I'm concerned with in terms of the scoring is that I only have the score sheet. So, and I'm looking at that, and it seems like your previous risk manager that's on here kind of skewed these numbers. And,
Yeah, so I did the numbers again. I called him the Russian judge here.
okay,
And so McGriff came out number 1 at 298. One Digital came out second with 286. And then Valley Risk came out with 259, just based on Erica, Robert, and Anna's scores.
Okay.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
appreciate that.
So,
Was a skew there.
yeah.
Right, and it was pretty, I
Pretty
mean,
wild.
right, and having had some
Yes.
conversations.
Yes.
Okay. I do say, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Commissioner, and I do agree that there's value in keeping things local. Was that accounted for in the rubric at all?
No, that's not part of the qualifications. It does have if you work with municipalities, but as far as having a local office or any of that, that's not part of the metrics that are measured.
Okay. Are there any other questions for Erica?
Yeah, I just want to say, if you hire the most competent people, it works. And if you hire the most competent consultants, it works. I don't care about geography, I care about competence.
I agree. When someone's going to your hiring, I was told that you always hire smarter than you.
Always hire people better than you.
Yes.
And that's the way a team wins.
Absolutely.
I make a motion to award this contract to McGriff Insurance Services, Inc.
I'll second that.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Appreciate it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Motion carries. Okay, and thank you, gentlemen, thank you all for being here to present, we appreciate you.
Number 12. Executive session, all items listed in this section will be deliberated in a closed session. Members of the public are not generally permitted to attend a closed session. Executive session items may be considered as an action item at the discretion of the mayor. However, city commission will not take any action in closed session. 12A, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, 1 and 2, attorney consultation, Section 551.072 regarding 8377 properties. B, pursuant to Government Code Section 551.071, attorney consultation and contemplated litigation. Section 551.072, deliberation regarding real estate. And Section 551.087, economic development relating to the following projects: Project Beach, Project Alphabet, Project Spec Building 3.
Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. The time is now 7:31 PM, and we will retire to executive session and be out shortly. to it.
I can't read it. Kind of
I know, that's not ideal.
Thank you.
Time is now 8:02 PM, and we are out of executive session. And we are on items,
Item 13, Mayor.
okay,
Action executive session items. The city commission will reconvene in open session and may take action on any item listed in the executive session section of this agenda. A, consideration and possible action on item 12A as discussed in executive session. B, consideration and possible action on items 12B, 1, 2, and 3 as discussed in executive session.
okay, so for item 13A, is there a motion?
Motion proceed as discussed.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13B.
Proceed as discussed.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.